Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 13th day of the 8th month of 2020. And let's see what kind of fun we can have. So there's apparently a story out of Chicago, and here's my problem with Chicago. I guess the federal, the Fraternal Order of Police, I guess, slammed their state attorney for Chicago, Kim Foxx. By the way, see what happens when the man with the yellow hat isn't there to keep control of Curious George. Do you see what happens? People go wild. Yes, it took me a couple of weeks, but Kim Foxx looks like Curious George. I swear, it's Curious George. Put a man with a yellow hat next to her, and I'm sure there's some weird shit going on. So, she will not enforce any of the laws that are on the books in Chicago. So that means you have free reign to, I guess you have free reign to assault police officers, loot, riot. So, anyway, but we'll get to that in a minute. So here we go. This is from 9:20 a.m. Gateway Pundit. Dallas soccer star Reggie Cannon calls fans disgusting for booing and chanting USA as players knelt for the national anthem. Well, then I guess you need to get the F out. That's all I'm going to say. But if I ever saw you in person, sir, if I ever saw you, Reggie, I'd knock you in the face. You don't like this country? Take a hike. And then, this is big. Legal expert claims Kamala Harris doesn't qualify for vice president. She'll have to be replaced. Well, let's find out why she doesn't qualify, shall we? Here we go again. Kamala Harris is the next politician to run for office who doesn't qualify for the position she's running for. Senator John McCain was born outside of the United States, and because of this, investigated when he ran for presidency and eventually determined eligible. Then came Barack Obama, who many to this day don't believe he's eligible for office of the presidency due to the unusual circumstances concerning his birth certificate. Anyway, so according to an op-ed in Newsweek, Kamala Harris likely does not qualify for the office of vice president. Professor John Eastman, professor of law at Chapman University and a senior fellow at the Claremont Institute, raised these concerns based on evidence known to date. And what is that evidence? Let's find out. The fact is, the Senator Kamala Harris has just been named the vice president running mate for presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, and has some questioning for her eligibility for the position. The 12th Amendment provides no person constitutionally ineligible to the office of the president shall be eligible to that of vice president of the United States. And Article 2 of the Constitution specifies that no person except a natural-born citizen shall be eligible for office of president. Her father was and is a Jamaican national. Her mother was from India, and neither were naturalized U.S. citizens at the time of Harris's birth in 1964. According to these commentators, makes her not a natural-born citizen and therefore ineligible for the office of president, and hence ineligible for the office of vice president. So, I think we need to take a bigger look at that. I mean, you folks don't want to enforce certain laws, then we're going to enforce other laws. That's what I think should happen. And this is something we should stand for big time. This is crazy. Her father and mother were not naturalized citizens, therefore she, born here or not, is not a naturalized American. I am, she is not. So I could run for VP. She can't. And it has nothing to do with your sex, darling. It has to do with that you're a retard. And then Joe Biden and Kamala Harris call for a nationwide mask mandate starting immediately. So what you're telling me is you can enforce that law, but the federal government cannot enforce immigration law. Okay. And then, creepy, Florida teacher writes own obituary in China flu freakout. That's creepy. And then, here we go. Joe Biden's handlers swiftly move in to protect Biden. Kick out reporters from Biden-Harris coronavirus briefing. Okay. Why, I don't know. His handlers should just be honest with us and tell us that he's not going to be the nominee, because he's not. And then Mitt Romney blocking Senator Ron Johnson from subpoenaing Comey, Brennan, to protect Paul Singer. Well, here's the problem, Mitt. We know you're involved with the whole Epstein-Maxwell case. I don't care if this gets demonetized. It probably will anyway. So it doesn't matter. This is nonsense. We know you're part of it, and we hope that you're part of the 180,000 indictments. And then Kamala Harris scored as most liberal U.S. senator in 2019 analysis says. Yeah, she's a nutbag, and so is Jayapal. They're all insane. Americans are fed up. 72% are concerned with violence in major cities. 62% say it affects their vote. So 62% are saying it affects their vote. I got news for you. It's going to be a landslide for Trump, and all these people's heads are going to explode, and I don't want to be anywhere near a population that's going to happen in. If I got to relocate, I will. I don't care. And then White House siege organizers release new tactical briefings with image of White House in flames. Yeah, I don't think Occupy Wall Street's going to have the freedom to do anything, because if this is what they're... and there's a picture of a naked woman on it. You know what? And then corrupt Atlanta DA Paul Howard wiped out an election after charging police officers with murder of Rayshad Brooks. If Rayshad Brooks fired a taser at me, I would have cut him in half with an M16. Color doesn't fucking matter. You're trying to kill me, I'm gonna make sure I take out you first. That's the way it's got to be. And then experts, unless the true origin of the China coronavirus is identified, another Chinese pandemic is in the offering. Is in the offing. I don't know what that means. Offing? Okay. And then this is a poll you can, well, not a poll, you can sign a letter to the FCC chairman because of what's happening with what's happening with the censorship on all of the platforms. And then we got President Trump slams Democrats as he announces new peace deal between Israel and UAE. It's about time. Now get our fucking troops home, old man. And then this is from this morning. Chicago State Attorney Kim Fox, a.k.a. Curious George, dismissed more than 25,000 felony cases in her first 3 years. A police union asks the feds to step in. Yeah, you better, because she released felony cases. We don't know what they were. They could have been gun possession. They could have been drug possession. They could have been intent to distribute. They could have been child pedophiles. They could have been anything. What are you doing? This woman has a face of evil. This and that one from St. Louis. You watch those two. Mark my words. They're involved deeper than anybody knows. Same thing with Kamala Harris and her sister, Maya Harris, who's been mentioned openly in the Podesta emails regarding pizza parties. And if you know anything about what's going on in the world, you know what's being talked about. And then University of Georgia removes face mask COVID sex guideline after ridicule. What? They had a sex guideline in like what, for like having sex with your partner, or What is going on here? We've gone this fucking completely crazy. Holy shit, we are so far out in left fucking field. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. And then down in Minneapolis. Down in Minneapolis. Democrat rule Minneapolis requires owners of businesses destroyed in riots to pay remaining taxes, 2020 taxes, before they receive permit to remove burned down. What? Are you... What you've done is you've taken my leg and you've put it up behind my shoulder, and you've got me standing on one leg, and you've got your one arm behind my neck holding me against my van, and you're fucking dog styling me on your hind legs. Holy shit. Thank you, Minneapolis City Council, because I'm sure that every one of those people is going to put a big fucking X next to the Republican ticket's name. You are welcome. And then we'll see what happens to you folks in Gitmo. And then Portland Black Lives Matter rioters burned Trump flag and pig head while shooting mortars at federal courthouse. That is from this morning. So there we go. That seems to be quality leadership in a city. And over 50 Confederate monuments have been removed or destroyed since George Floyd riots began. Really? Well, considering George Floyd was a fucking fentanyl-using, meth-head, drug addict criminal, I don't condone the way he died, but it's no big loss. And then District Attorney in Portland says he will not pursue charges against most far-left street thugs arrested during continued riots and anarchy. Well, he looks like he's a cuckold soy boy. I wonder how many times a week his wife pegs him. I'm gonna have to call that office and find out. I'll put that on my list. And then strange report shows 2020 with the lowest number of recorded U.S. deaths since 2009. Wow, really? So you're telling me COVID actually stopped people from dying? What is that saying to me? What are you telling me? It's not strange at all. You know we're getting fucked. And then bad polling. Washington, D.C.'s Democrat mayor paves over defund the police street mural. She's such a Bowser from Shanana down there needs to step down too. What's her name? Mayor Bowser? Isn't that a dog's name? Like people name their kids Missy. What the fuck is that? Naming your dog you're naming your kid a dog's name. Missy. Okay. And then Trumpster just leave grocery store. Grocery store. Smith's grocery store employees threaten curse a customer for improper mask use, and he's wearing it like a Superman or like a superhero around his eyes. What an asshole. He's probably not even a Trumper. He's just fucking with people. That's great. And then Tucker last night, I didn't see it because I had gotten annihilated. It's time to stop lying about what's happening. Start telling the truth. Tucker calls out Democrats for promoting chaos and street violence across America, and they are. They are. And this ineligible VP pick is cheering for the rioters and looters. Meanwhile, 30 people have been killed directly due to the riots, not to mention the shootings in Chicago and Los Angeles and New York, Trenton and Elizabeth and, all these places. And these people are cheering it on. So what does that tell you, folks? I mean, I'm an uneducated fucking hack road worker who can't do shit, just does a lot of reading, and I see what's going on. Everybody else should too. And right back to Romney blocking Senate Ron Johnson from subpoenaing Comey and Brennan, because you know for a fact this Romney dude, he's involved. His name is probably so deep in those Epstein Maxwell transcripts, you won't even know. And then, what are they afraid of? Biden and Harris take no questions from reporters after first appearance together. Gee, I wonder why. And then this is from yesterday, and that was to homewrecker Ilhan Omar wins her primary, proving America-hating Marxists continue to take over Democrat Party. Yes. And then creepy George Soros attacks. President calls him trickster who undermines democracy while Soros undermines the rule of law across the Western world. That's true, and I would love to see George Soros in person. I want to take care of those bags under his eyes. And then the S&P the S&P 500 sets a new all-time high on a Wednesday. Folks, you better wake up, because if you don't see what's going on, if you don't see the divide, then you're blind. And if you're that caught up in your own little world and don't realize that if this ball doesn't keep rolling forward, we're going to lose our way of life in a fraction of the time you think it's going to take. Let's call it what it is. You have active Marxists, active communists functioning inside your federal government. What are you doing? There's a gentleman out there, Antoine Tucker. Antoine Tucker is running, he's a reformed gang member, spent time in jail. Good Christian man. And what's he doing? He's out there running against AOC and he's getting no coverage. He's a Spanish black man. Lived on the streets, knows what it's like to be part of that life. And you got Sandy Cortez there from the west side of Nyack. You know, you talking a lot of money up there. She grew up in a $3 million home, but yet she plays this, I'm from the streets. No, you ain't. I'm more street than you. And I ain't no street. It's not about race or creed anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It's about what's right and wrong. These people are petrified. Because when it comes out that they're all involved, you're going to have an uprising in this country that you've never seen before. There's one thing that should gather us all together, and that is the safety, security, and well-being of children in our country. And if you cannot see that, if you cannot get behind that, then I don't know what the hell kind of human being you think you are, because you're not. We've got a Speaker of the House who claims she's a devout Catholic, and yet she is all for funding abortion. I'm surprised she doesn't start to spontaneously combust when she speaks of the Word of God. And that's coming from a gay Christian. Like, at least I can sit here and pray, and I'm not going to incinerate. I know I'm going to face my Maker for my sins, and I try not to perpetuate them, but you know what? These people are ill, and they need to be taken care of. From Jayapal all the way down to Maxine Waters, who thinks peeing in a cup is an IQ test. I mean, this is a problem. We have serious issues in this country, and we need to get a handle on them. And if we don't, you ain't got nothing left for your kids. Think about that. I don't even have any kids, but you know what? You do. The people that hear this have kids. What future are you leaving them? What kind of confusion? Misrepresentation? The lies? How much? When is it over? When is enough enough? You could read these articles all day long. You could read these articles all day long, and it should just get you pissed. There is a Play-Doh thing. It comes in a tube or in a container, and you take out the container. It looks like one of them little milk cartons from school. And on the back, there's a number. And when you call that number, if you press 1, it's talking dirty to children. It's talking dirty to children. I saw this online today, and I said, you got to be kidding me. Somebody did a video on it, Facebook. I'm sure Facebook took it down already. Anything to protect the children, Facebook will take down, and that's because Mark Zucker posted from the island saying he was partaking in the adrenochrome was awesome. But watching it get harvested from the younger participants, let's call it what it was, Mark, they were children, was pretty uncomfortable. So, you take that with what you want. I look at it this way. You've got serious issues in this country. And if the people, the silent majority who are out there saying under their breath, I'm voting Trump, if you don't start standing up for the rights of these kids, if you don't start standing up and calling out the people that are doing this stuff to your kids, the school system, your school boards, the head of your board of education, the head of your board of education in your state, it's time to wake up. Otherwise, Murphy's going to have your kids for dinner. And I don't mean that figuratively. God bless and be well. Keep speaking the truth, ladies and gentlemen, because we're the only hope we've got. We're the only hope we've got. Go with God and be safe from evil.